Now, when it comes to names, your name fits into a series of letters related to all of this. So, again, if I was using my name, so okay, so
what's your middle name too?
Anything that you want to play with. So that's a really great question, because I had a client of mine whose name was Ron Maestri, and he was a comedian, and he was a QVC host and a Home Shopping Network host and an actor and all these things. He was using Ron Maestri, and it was an 11, and the 11 was causing a lot of fragmentation and chaos and things to get really disrupted. And I said to him, what is your middle name? And his middle name was Scott. And I said to him, when we did Ronald Scott Maestri, it ended up that it was a 10, which was powerful and strong, and it was a lot better. And I said, you should call yourself Ronald Scott Maestri. Okay? So you want to kind of like look at what will stabilize the energy a little bit,
okay,
which is really cool. So, but what you want to do is you want to separate out consonants and vowels. So I'm going to put the vowels on the top level, and then I'm going to put the consonants on the lower level. So if I go to a U, the U is a 1, the A is a 1, and the E is a 5. For me again, the A is a 1, the E is a 5. Okay, so if I look at my name here, it's like if I do the first part of my name, it's a 7. If I do the second part of my name, it's a 6. If I add them together, is a 13, which is a 4. Then you do the same with the consonants. The S is a 9. The Z is a 6. The N's are 4s, so there's 2 4s. And then the W is a 3. The G is a 7. The N is another 4. And the R is an 8. And so if I add these individually up, I've got 10, 23 is a 5. Is that right? 10, 23 is a 5. And then the second part is, let's see, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22 is a 22, 4. And then if I add the 5 and the 4 together, it's a 9. Okay? So, what you want to do is you want to look at your name, and you want to separate it out into the vowels and the consonants because they mean something different. So in my book, when you get to page 114, there's something with the vowels that's called the driving force in your life. And you find what the driving force is by adding up all the numbers. And you basically make it 11 or below. So you add everything together again, and so this was a 13, so you add the 1 and the 4 together. And then if I add the full name, as I add the 4 and the 7 together, and that would be a 11. That's right. No, that's a 13. Sorry, never mind. So it was a 6, and then it was a 7. It's a 13, which is 4. Okay. So now. So this is like the driving force. So the driving force in my life ends up being a 4. And the 4, again, is the number of neutral mind. So you think of neutral mind and harmony and balance and communication and win-win. So the driving force in my life is to be a communicator, which is pretty obvious. So that's pretty obvious at this point. So I see myself as a mediator and a counselor and a negotiator and a diplomat and a harmonizer and a balancer. And I'm always trying to create that balance. It's the driving force in my life, is to help myself and others find balance. The consonants, if you go to the next page, the consonants on page 116 are the dream number. And so the dream number is what you desire to become. You know, it's the thing that you're going for. So in my particular case, it's a 9. And so a 9 is, again, Isis, Nephthys. It's the mystic, the intuitive, the feeler, the artist, the creative person. So my dream is to become the artist. I mean, so I'm trying to dream to become the artist in some way. So, so for you, what's your driving force?
I didn't write it down.
You didn't write them down?
She's like, trying to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of hard. I know it's a little wild, but this is a fun thing to do because it kind of helps you understand things. And then you go to the next one, which is the true self number, which is that you add them all together. So in this case, you would add the 4 and the 9 together with myself, which would be 13, which would then be a 4 again. So again, then my true self number is a 4, which is that I want to be balanced. I mean, like I've got 4s all over the place. So in my destiny number, I have a 4. I've got a 4 in my vowels, the driving force, and I've got a 4 in my true self. So it's just all over the place. So, so let's do yours for a second. And because this is a fun little thing to do. Okay, so give me your full name. You want to do your full name or? Okay, so
Heidi. H-E-I-D-I.
H-E-I-D-I, okay.
Last name R-O-M-R-E-L-L.
Okay, so the H is an 8. Oops, sorry, I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing vowels first. So the 8 will go down here. The E is a 5. The I is a 9. The D is a 4. The I is a 9. Oops, did it again. Okay, and then this is an 8. O is a 5. And M is a 3. And R is an 8. E is a 5. And the 2 L's is a 2 and a 2. Okay. So the first part of your name is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 is a 5, and this part is a 10. So you get 10 plus 5 equals 15, which equals a 6. And then we do the lower part, and we've got a 12 is a 3, and then we've got, let's see, 10, 23. So this is a 23, which is a 5. And then we've got 5 and 3. 5 plus 3 equals an 8. Okay. So in this particular situation, what we've got is we've got that you have a driving force in your life of a 6. So the driving force in your life is that spiritual service-oriented seeker, that wanting to serve humanity, serve other people. It's a little bit quiet, it's a little bit hermit-like, like you have this quiet side of yourself. Like your driving force is that you want the solitude, you want the peacefulness, and you want the quiet. The other one, so we've got the dream number. The dream number is an 8, and the dream number being an 8 says that there's this part of you that wants, your dream is as above, so below, as below, so above. Like your dream is to have that balance between those two sides. Like you really want to bring heaven to earth, you want to bring earth to heaven, you want to have this perfect balance between those two that are centered in your heart. You want to have a life that's got breath, that you can breathe and you can open up and flow. And obviously when that's not working, you will feel grief, you will feel constricted, you will feel like it's just miserable and horrible. So then if you add the 6 and the 8 together, you get a 14, which is a 5. So then your true self number is a 5. And so the 5 is the wounded healer teacher, which is interesting because, again, you have all those 5s in your number. So like I've got 4 showing up everywhere. You've got 5 showing up everywhere. It's sort of interesting how it works. So your, true self is the healer teacher, the wounded healer teacher. That's just who you are. Your karma is that, your gift is that, your true self is that. I mean, it's just absolutely everywhere. So when people ask me the question like, what is your lucky number? Yours, in my book, would be a 5. Mine would be a 4 and a 7 because I've got multiple 7s. So, but yours would definitely be a 5. So it's sort of like, what's your lucky number? 5. Okay. If we were betting in Vegas, that's what I would try. So, and it's really cool to also look at what do you call it, nicknames. Okay, so it's really interesting to look at nicknames. Yeah,
That's funny.
it is really funny, you know.
Oh, wow.
And how sometimes somebody